This video is basically about finding a room for rent. Basically, I'm not a full expert, but I can give you a few tips. You can try Craigslist to find a room for rent. In Los Angeles, I found a few that way. Um, I haven't found any by driving around, but I have in other states that I've lived in to find a room for rent. And let's see. Yeah, um, there's Westside Rentals too, but last time I went to Westside Rentals, I told them that I was only willing to pay like 700 a month, and they didn't even want me to sign up. They said everything was above that, and I've never had a problem. I found a good place in Beverly Hills through Westside Rentals, but so basically, people are renting out rooms out of their house, to pay their mortgage, and some of them are really nice people, down to earth, and probably most of them are lying about something. They are lying, is what I've found. Um, they're lying about the drug dealing going on, that someone's dealing drugs. I even lived in Beverly Hills, and there was this guy in a back house, and he was like dealing drugs, and he was having stray people over all the time, like street people, and then he was basically dealing drugs, and he was on the night schedule, staying up until 4 or 5 in the morning. You can hear him coughing and stuff, and you can tell it's not pot because pot makes people kind of sleepy. I don't have a problem with that. It's the frickin' he was smoking the rocks, the crystal or the meth. I never asked him. I never partied with him, so I don't know for sure. If I would have partied with him, gone back, maybe I would have had better relations with him or all that. And I didn't even bring it up with the landlords. I just said he's a little bit loud late at night. That's what I had a problem with. I don't really care what somebody does in their own space. I just wish they would legalize crack and crank, not because I use it or I really liked it when I tried it, but because, it'd be just less collateral damage. So a lot of times when you move in this place, it doesn't matter if you're in a high rent area or not, because I was in Beverly Hills. I lived there for 7 months. I was renting a room there. And I got that out of Westside Rentals. And then I saw another one there for 800. And the guy was going to rent it to a nurse chick because he had medical problems. Well, he probably had mental problems too, but he had medical problems for sure. So that's why he wanted to rent it to a nurse that was going to teach, that wasn't teaching, but was going to practice at Cedars-Sinai. So she was moving in the area. So there's always going to be, when you're living in LA renting a room, there's probably going to be somebody dealing drugs. And then they're going to tell you that it's totally quiet. And that's not the truth. I worked longshore for years, so I was used to a schedule, and I worked in the film business too, and even there, it's a day schedule type of deal. Your call time is usually 6, 5, 4 in the morning, and then sometimes you shoot late. But generally I don't mind if people work late, but when they have to come home at 3 or 4 in the morning and they decide to call up their old friends and party at home, that's when I got a problem with it. And I was at this other place in Seattle I was staying at before I moved down here to LA, and the guy said it's totally quiet, blah 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 blah. And sure enough, the guy next to me is a bartender. I don't got a problem with that. He comes home at 3 in the morning. I don't have a problem with that. But he comes home at 3:30 in the morning. And he's like freaking partying. Invites his buddies over, and they're doing drugs. And then he was subletting his room out when he wasn't there, and he was subletting his room, which means, I don't know if he was a member of couch surfing or something, but it's almost like he was renting it out, because it seems like people would come over and stay for a couple days, and then they would leave. And like the landlord lived in the basement of that house. If you don't, yeah, how does the landlord miss that one? People coming over and all that stuff. But they were really sneaky. Like, they kind of sneak into his room at some time during the day. I'd see him sneak in with a backpack or whatever. I'd say hi to him. They wouldn't say hi to me or anything. That was up in Seattle, but it's on the same subject. They're going to lie. and you have to prepare for it. And the thing that sucks is a lot of them want to give you a lease. Do not sign a lease with any of them, because the odds are they're probably lying. I got an apartment like 10 years ago in Glendale, Los Angeles. Glendale, it's kind of near Los Angeles. And it was a great apartment. It was a one bedroom for $500 a month. I figured it's a great deal. It was a couple blocks away from the police precinct. I figured you can't go wrong with that, can you? You know. Sure enough, first night, like 2 in the morning, I can hear the blinds moving down below. And then I look out the window and there's like money's going in and drugs are going out, basically. So I stopped looking down after that. I didn't need to know anymore, want to know anymore. And then I woke up again later and I could hear more noise, and it was like almost like they were breaking up keys of cocaine and freaking selling them out the window. So I figured I'd run down to 7-Eleven down the street just to make it look like I was going to 7-Eleven to pick up something late at night, just double check it. And sure enough, at the phone booth, there's like a line of probably 22 people waiting in line, calling that one number to go there to score or whatever. And you could look out that apartment and you could see the Glendale Police Department precinct within eyeshot. I mean, direct view, you could see that. So that's how much they care about that, you know, I guess. So anyways, you know, there's that. So it doesn't matter, I guess. Like I said, the area you're in, you're not, nothing's really sacred. And I mean, stuff, even in Beverly Hills, stuff happens. They have a different police department. I mean, if you want to look at LAPD crime maps, you can get an idea of maybe how safe the area is if you're moving into. But I don't think you should be really concerned about whether your area is safe or not, because there's no area that's really sacred. And you just have to be cautious when you're going to your place and coming from your place, and just make sure when you get home, like if you're in a hurry and you got a bunch of groceries and you can't lock your door, make sure that's the next thing you do. I mean, don't throw your groceries on the counter and then forget to lock the door and hop in the shower, because, you know, you leave that door unlocked and, you know, homeless people can move in. Not that they're bad, but they can move in your living room while you're taking a shower, or people can go through your stuff, or they can, if you're a female, maybe they can, who knows what. Yeah. You can think about that for a minute, but you definitely want to lock your door. So, and you want to make sure your windows you can put boards in them to make sure that they don't open too much, so that when you have your window open, if you want to keep the place cool, you won't have other inhabitants entering your apartment. But at LAPD crime maps, and then Los Angeles Times, they're still a newspaper, and they have an online division, and you can look up their version of crime maps and stuff, and you can enter the area, the zip code of the area you want to look at, or you can look at a map and see where you want to live. Basically. So if you, yeah, that's it. I was going to do, and so you tried, I guess, if you want to live in a safe area or whatever, generally the safer areas, you're going to pay more rent. And realistically, you're going to be paying a minimum of $500 for one room, unless you want to share. You know, you want to share a room with somebody else, like a bunk bed. You sleep on the top or on the bottom. I'd recommend sleeping on the top, because if they come home drunk and they pee and they're on the top, guess where it's going. Got that right. So yeah, and then Craigslist has them. You can drive around sometimes and you can see signs for rentals posted in the yard and all that stuff. Basically, so let's see. Maybe here I'll give you an idea of some prices. I'll just put unlimited price here, just a private room. Search, and yeah, we got up to 2,000, 2,400, 1,600. Marina Del Rey for 1,600. It's at a different hertz, that's why you see the strubs. You got Beverly Hills here, one bedroom, 1,200. So it's amazing that, like, you can live in some cities, not paradise, like LA. You can live in some cities and get your own apartment for 1,200, and that's like a room for 1,200. So the sky's the limit if you want to pay a lot of money. Basically, I've found from renting rooms is what I mean. Rooms, if you pay a decent amount of money, like 800, you can probably get a room in a decent area that's relatively safe. That means that probably when you like no matter, there is no completely safe, but like for example, you come out to the car and it's still there, you know, and that's always nice. And that can be. There's other factors that come into play there, like did you not look at the sign when you parked the car, so the tow truck got it while you were asleep, or sometimes even while you're awake? Did you not pay attention to the signs? How bad is the parking there? And they're probably not going to tell you the truth about that either. Like one time I was looking for a place, a pretty nice place in Hollywood, and I'm like, well, how's the parking or whatever? Oh, it's not too bad. There's good street parking. You can find street parking around here. I'm like, well, how long do I have to look for a spot? Well, it's about 20 minutes, but you can get a spot. Usually it takes me up to 20 minutes to find a spot. I'm like, okay, well, you figured 20 minutes times 30 or 28 or 31. I mean, that's like hours out of your life. That's like freaking 10 hours looking for a parking spot every month. If you figure 20 minutes times 3 is an hour, and then an hour times 10 is that's almost 10 hours a month that you're spend trying to find a parking spot. And I could think of many other things to do like that, like look at web porn or go on an audition, or you maybe even work or do other stuff. So that's about it. Basically, let's see what we got here. Yeah, we got a few more minutes. So you just have to assume they're going to lie to you. Don't sign a lease summarizing, you're going to be lied to, and don't sign a lease because you don't know until you move in. That's the bottom line. I mean, they can be a really nice person, really down to earth, screen you, make it look good. They'll ask you all the questions, put you on the defensive, like, do you smoke? Do you take drugs? All that stuff. Like, they're really concerned. Are you out at night? They'll ask you all that stuff. And meanwhile, they're doing exactly the same thing. They're taking drugs, they're loud at night, and they do all that. But they just ask you. Maybe, I don't know, it's because they have a sick sense of humor. They just want to make sure that they're going to have to break you in and get you to start doing drugs and stay up late at night and all that so you'll fit into their house. So they ask you those questions, and then they want to do a background check. And a lot of that is a scam. 99% what they do is they have like a fake agency or a friend of theirs that takes your credit card numbers, and then they do a fake background check on you, and really what they did was they just scammed you for 25 to 40 bucks doing a background check. And a background check is no guarantee that the other people, it makes you feel secure. Oh, I'm doing a background check, I'm giving somebody money. And a lot of times with the background check, I ask them, well, if I do this background check, if I pay this money for this background check, then you guarantee that you have a room for me. And they want to take the money from me and I don't even see the place, and then they won't guarantee they have a room for me. I mean, I'm not spending 40 bucks unless I got a solid guarantee that I'm going to get the room, that I'm online. Sorry about my voice, it's kind of freaking messed up. Yeah, so that's about it. And I'll probably do another one of these tips and advice on renting a room in Los Angeles.